So if it was up to you, let's say you had the power to go in the past and say, you know what, no colonialism. I'm not going to let that happen. Would you say, let's let colonialism happen, or would you stop it? You would let it happen.
We got next screaming Israel rise. Jamming to my verbs, standing on the curb, famine of the word, damaging my nerves, cannon for the purge. I go Michael bad, flow crazy like a psychopath, like a rifle blast. Try your ass, get your idol smashed.
Foremost, I want to give all praises to you. How about you, Shad? We're Hebrew Israelites coming out week in, week out to prophesy to the so-called black Hispanics, Native Americans, or the Israelites according to the Bible. Right? So give me John 16:2. So if y'all had a question. What's your question? What are you guys doing? We're teaching the truth of the Bible. Do you believe in the Bible? Do I read it? You believe in it? Yeah. So you believe in the whole Bible. So according to this Bible, is this what the Messiah looks like? Without the horns, just this man right here. That's what he looks like? So you've seen that image hanging in the church before. You go to church? Yeah. And you see that depiction, right? So we know Israel is what would be known as the Middle East, which really is Northeast Africa, right? So, what color are people who usually come from here? Are they that color? No. So why do we have them, and why do you say that the Messiah will look like this if he comes from Northeast Africa? That's what you've been told, right? Yeah. So what if I told you, according to the Bible, that who the world calls Christ didn't look like that, but he was actually a dark-skinned man? Would you believe it?
I mean, I haven't been learned that way.
You've been taught that way?
Yeah.
But would you believe it, or would it sound far-fetched to you? Okay. You believe in the Bible?
Yeah.
You do. So without the horns, this man right here, right? Who is that? That's Jesus, right? That's where you go to church and you see this image, correct? Okay, so is this what he actually looked like?
No. The reason for that.
Can you speak up a little bit? I can barely hear you.
Okay, so the reason for that is because Christianity as a whole started in the Empire.
Okay.
Now, all that art
That wasn't the Holy Roman Empire. That's not the Holy Roman Empire. Renaissance took place after the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire was built by people who were known as okay, but there's a difference between the Holy Roman Empire and the pagan Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire took place before the Renaissance. Right? So what you had, let's get you off because you made a statement. I just got to clarify. What you had prior to the Renaissance is you had something called iconoclasm. Because when you go into the ancient churches, they had the visions of who the world calls Christ, as Jesus, as dark skin. So then when you had the pagan Roman Empire with the Renaissance, then they came in there and they started whitewashing. So it wasn't the Holy Roman Empire.
No. It was like the Renaissance.
Yeah, it was Renaissance.
I'm saying like that took place.
It wasn't the Holy Roman Empire. That's not the Holy Roman Empire. Yeah, that's Rome, but it's not the Holy Roman Empire. That's not the same thing. But go ahead. Go ahead with your point, though.
Yeah, I was just saying that's why they depict him as white because he took place there.
Right. So why, if we know that's not what he looks like, would they depict him as what he doesn't look like?
Because it's more about like that's where it was started.
What was started?
That's where like Christianity.
Really?
That's where they started. That's when it like expanded into different things.
Okay. That doesn't answer the question. Why, if they know that's not the truth? Christians back then, you say they knew that the Messiah didn't look like that.
Yeah.
So why would they paint him in that image?
Because it was made by artists and stuff that they didn't write the Bible. They didn't know maybe all about it, but it was their religion. That's what was popular around them, and then other artists took it and
Okay, so let me show you something, right? Give me Job 9:24. Give me Revelation 1 and 13.
Bring it out.
Let me show you, because according to the Bible, we can actually see what depiction we see, right? What he looks like. So let me show you. Revelation 1 and 13.
Book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 13. And in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man,
Son of Man, this is the Messiah, Jesus Christ, so-called, right? Go ahead.
clothed with a garment down to the foot,
So he had a garment going down to his foot. Go ahead.
and girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
So he had a belt on. Go ahead.
His head and his hairs
His head and his hairs. Now pay attention. Go ahead.
were white like wool.
So he's like what?
Like wool.
Like wool. What people have woolly textured hair?
Yeah, so he tripped down the Dallas.
You don't know. You ever seen a sheep before? You ever pet a sheep? You have. What kind of hair does it have? Wool, right? Nappy. What kind of people have nappy hair?
probably like
Okay, there's all kinds of people that live in the Middle East. Middle East isn't an ethnicity, that's a geographical location.
Yes, but I'm talking about like people that
Okay,
But
what
I'm not
people?
talking about
There's all kinds of people that live in the Middle East. Okay, they have nappy hair. They have sheep-like hair. Okay, well that's what, when you look up nappy and sheep-like and blue, they're all synonymous with each other.
Well, I would say like I don't know what they mean. Like there's a difference between different religions and ethnics. Like everybody has different religions.
I understand. Now, would you say that the texture of hair on the sheep and the texture of an afro would be similar? Yes, right? So it said he had woolly-like hair, which we can identify as something like an afro, right? Go ahead.
Gone. As white as snow.
So we have white, woolly hair. Go ahead.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Now read this part nice and slow. Go ahead.
And his feet
And his feet. Your feet are usually the same color as the rest of your body, right? Uh-huh.
like unto fine brass.
What color is brass? A goldish? A gold? Okay. Goldish brown. Goldish brown. All right, go ahead.
As if they burned in the
What
furnace.
happens if you burn anything in the furnace? Charcoal is darkness, right?
Yes.
Burned, burnished to blacken. So it said he had blackened colored skin with the afro-like hair. So why do we see this image?
There's yes, people that made it.
So white people got to just rewrite history, right? Now, what does the Bible say about that? What do you think? You think that's a good thing?
There's no like bias.
I'm gonna show you. Give me
But I
Job.
believe that the Bible is written by man, not by itself, so I believe that it's for us to travel.
Okay, we'll get to that. Give me Job 9:24.
Job 9:24.
Uh-huh.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the people who rule the earth are those who are wicked. Go ahead.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
What does he do?
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
So why do they cover the faces of the judges thereof? Because they are wicked. So the people who made this depiction of the Messiah right here, they would be wicked. Anyone who's going to go in history and rewrite history to fit their false narrative, to further white supremacy, well, you can say is wicked, right?
That's right.
Every single person would have been
Everybody's wicked. Unless you're perfect. Okay, all right.
Everybody has flaws.
Everybody's flawed. Are there people who are perfect?
No, sir.
No? There's not? Give me Job 1:1.
That's right.
There's no one who's perfect? Other than nobody other than Jesus. Job. Are you familiar with the story of Job in the Bible? No? Are you familiar with the story of Job?
I don't think there's ever been any normal person that's ever walked on never had a dream, had a thought cross their mind that probably they should.
Give me Job 1:1.
This book of Job, chapter 1, verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job.
His name was Job. This is a man in the land of Uz. His name is Job. Go ahead.
And that man
Was what?
was perfect.
He was what?
Was
Well, I
perfect.
thought there was nobody perfect.
But I just
Give me
said that
Matthew
everything
5:48.
in the Bible is not true.
So the Bible's not true.
That's not what it said. It said people that wrote the Bible did not come from God, did not write the Bible himself.
Okay.
The Bible, maybe it was how he told him, maybe he wrote it perfect. However, when it's gone through thousands of years of rewritings and translations, some things do get translated wrong. Have you ever played
Like
the
what?
telephone game?
Like what? What? Can you show me what's been translated wrong?
Well, I don't know. We don't know. Otherwise,
What do you
if
mean
we
we
knew
don't
what
know?
it was, then it wouldn't be translated.
Well, then how can you then say, well, there was something that was translated wrong, but you don't know what it was?
Because have you ever played a telephone game?
No, I never played a telephone game.
No, you're
Are we going to equate a telephone game with scholars going in and
All right.
translating a script?
Same thing. Okay. If he was a fluent Spanish speaker,
Okay.
he said something to me, and I spoke Spanish, and then I tried to translate it in English. It'll be like the same, but it will have a little context.
Is that an absolute?
Yes.
That's an absolute every time. It's
Not
gonna be
every
like-
single time.
Okay, then. So how can you? That's something
It
that's
depends on the state. If you say my name is this, obviously it's wrong.
okay.
Because it's a straight up word. When you start talking phrases, languages have like one word for a phrase. Phrases can be interpreted in different ways. If you type in on Google Translate, you type in a word in English, you might have 2 or 3 examples pop up in the script. Okay.
Okay, but I'm just trying to see how does that substantiate your point as to the Bible being, in a sense, tampered with? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so the Bible's been tampered with, and you don't have any evidence to prove that it's been tampered with, but I'm just supposed to take your word for it, right? No, that's not an example. That's you giving a story on something that could happen, that's conjecture, that is not absolute. There's no. Are you able to go anywhere that's absolute, concrete evidence and illustrate how the Bible is handled?
If you make a sentence,
That's not
in the
concrete.
very
That's
first thing-
not
No,
that's not an
because,
absolute.
like,
Do you believe the Bible's true?
Yes.
100%.
Yes. You got Psalms?
Yep.
Go ahead.
This book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 11.
Now you said that God didn't write the Bible. Okay, go ahead.
The Lord gave the
Who
word.
gave the word?
The Lord gave the
So
word.
the Lord gave the word. Go ahead.
Great was the company of those that published
So
it.
you have people like scribes who the Most High God ordained to translate and to write down His word. Right? Go ahead.
First Peter, 2 Peter 1:20.
right.
Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture
No prophecy of the scriptures is what?
is of any private interpretation.
So there's no private interpretation of the scriptures. So if you're coming with conjecture and things that maybe it could be like this, but it may not be. Right? Because in your scenario, there's a possibility through orally you could maybe get a few things mixed up. Right? Right? But is there also a possibility that there wouldn't be anything mixed up? Okay, so then how are you then going to say, oh, well, there's a possibility that it could, so that means it did? When there's also a possibility that it couldn't. You see what I'm saying? But what was you going to say?
Okay, well, the other thing is, because people that do it are just repeating the Bible, translate stuff. So if I took the Bible in English, I can do it. If I wait a certain section of it, it's guaranteed.
Well, that's because you're not a linguist. Are you a linguist? No, you're not. So I wouldn't expect a non-linguist to be able to go and translate a book with no error. Because you're not a linguist, you're not a scholar. Come on. You see what I'm saying? That's a false equivalency. That's like me saying, I would expect you, if you were to shoot a jump shot, to probably miss, as opposed to Kobe Bryant, who's a basketball player, to make it. Because he's a basketball player. So the same way, I wouldn't expect you, a non-linguist, a non-scholar. Okay, but that's not the point. The point is, you, a non-scholar, a non-linguist, of course, if you translate something, it's not going to be as sufficient as if someone who is a linguist and a scholar is. So that's a false equivalency. What do you hold?
Sufficient.
I was still holding the rest of that beat.
Yeah.
Still holding the rest of that beat.
Okay, that's fine. Now, I want to ask you another thing, right? Are you familiar with what's going on in the border right now?
Yeah.
The border. How do you feel about that?
I mean, all of us were immigrants at one time. I feel like,
Immigrants. All of us are immigrants?
well, except the Indians, the natives.
So black people were immigrants. So-called black people.
Yeah.
Immigrants.
Yeah. They were traveled to America.
So that's an immigrant. It's being trafficked, literally enslaved and brought here.
No,
forcibly?
okay. Immigrant, they move on their own will.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we're not all immigrants.
Yeah, we're not all
All right,
immigrants.
all right.
Some of us were forced.
Okay.
But like all of us were from a different place.
Uh-huh.
So we all moved here for a reason.
They were from English too. They were all from Africa when they walked across. But every single person, nobody is directly from it.
Okay, but are there people indigenous to it?
Like the first people that came here.
Yes. Okay, and then we have descendants of those people today, right?
Yeah.
And their land was seized, right? And they're not being allowed back into their own land. Correct? Okay, that's my question. And you too, what were you saying?
I believe that they should be able to come here and have the same right as everybody else back in the 1600s whenever they started coming over here.
They should have the same rights as the European immigrants.
Yeah.
So the European immigrants that came to colonize this country, they should have the same rights as the people whose country this belongs to, returning back to their own country.
I guess we'll say that.
Okay, so you're saying the people, let's say a Mexican family, right, that's in Tijuana or something, right? They should be able to come in here and have the same rights as the people who in the 1600s came and colonized this place.
Yeah.
So should they have a right to colonize America? Let's say if all Latinos from North, Central, and South America decide, you know what, we're going to take America back. Should they have the right to do so?
Not take it back, but they can.
Why not?
Because we have laws now.
Oh, who's we?
Americans.
Oh, so
And that's actually,
descendants of the people who colonized this place.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get this straight. There's a people get to go from one side of the earth to another, rape, rob, enslave, pillage, decimate, and destroy, kick people out of their own lands, right? And so then when they want it back, it's, no, y'all can't because we have laws in this land that we stole. That's fair?
Well,
Like us, we're here, we're free. So
Who's us? I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about.
if Mexico did want to invade America, it would be our job to not let them out. If they had the ability to do it and they did it, nobody else would do it.
Really? You
We
don't
are
think-
allies.
Maybe your allies. Do you know that NATO? You guys have when NATO country is invaded, you literally you have a requirement as a NATO member to assist them. So it's not maybe. You have a requirement by law.
Yes. But
So you would have help.
other
It's not maybe.
countries, yes, that's because we hate years of making friends.
Oh,
But
okay.
other countries, small countries get invaded all the time. I'm not saying it's right, but it happens.
So it's just let bygones be bygones.
I'm saying if another country does do it, successfully takes it over, they claim it, they defend it, I guess it's theirs.
It's just theirs. How do you think God feels about that?
I don't know how God feel about it, but I definitely think that we have the right. Okay, so like we're talking that way back in the day. We came here when there wasn't much going on, and everybody was trying to get all over the earth as fast as possible. Everybody's doing islands, everybody's doing all this and that. It doesn't happen that much nowadays. It's a completely different thing. And we did come here and make it way better.
Who did?
Europeans.
Europeans made America better. Is there pollution in America right now? Is there more pollution now or when Native Americans were here? There's more now. Okay. Now, hold on. Wait. Was there deforestation? Was that a problem when Native Americans were here, or is it a problem now? Genetically modified foods. Is that a problem now, or was it then too? It's a problem now. Oh, okay. Animal population going extinct. Is that a problem back then, or is that a problem now? Is it a problem back then too? So can you
Indians
cite?
actually hunted the buffalo.
Okay, hunting the buffalo and exterminating the buffalo are two vastly different things.
That's right.
You
Bring
can
that out.
hunt. You can hold on. You can hunt, right? Number one, when Native Americans hunted, they wouldn't just kill for sport. They killed, and they would kill that animal and use every part of it because they didn't take the life of something God created in vain. As opposed to Europeans going around the four corners of the planet Earth and exterminating people,
That's right.
animals, and organisms. So, what are you talking about?
Okay, so do you think that living in squalor is better? Because they would. That's like the scientific fact. That's what actually
Living in what?
Squalor, which is like scientific term. Versus internet, modern medicine, just everything that we've accomplished.
Yeah.
I think that's a better alternative.
I think, yes, it is emphatically a better alternative. Because guess what? They didn't need to worry about medicine. Why? Because the people who brought diseases were you guys. So there was no...
If the world would have just kept expanding.
Oh,
then
see now we gotta blame everybody else. See, it's your guys' fault because you guys didn't evolve. So evolving is developing diseases, is evolution, right?
Yes, you adapt to your surroundings and what you're accustomed
So why didn't you stay where your guys are at?
to. We would have ended up, if they did, if we evolved like we were, they ended up doing what they were. And then we didn't, everybody would have caught everything.
Everybody would have caught everything. Why not just stay where the hell you're at and mind your damn business?
We
Like Native
can't
Americans
go
were
back
doing for
and
thousands of
fix
years. Of course you can't go back and fix it, but that's not the point. The point is you're sitting here literally trying to justify colonialism. That's what you're trying to do. Oh, we made it better. So killing 100 million people is better?
to turn it into that's a false statement.
How is that false? Were 100 million Native Americans killed here? Approximately.
No,
Okay, we're millions, tens of millions of Native American people here slaughtered. Yes. Is that better? Is that okay because America was built into this great empire? Is that all right? Does that justify it?
that has happened everywhere.
I'm not asking about everywhere. I'm talking about America. Don't go
Yes.
running everywhere else. I'm talking about America specifically.
Yes, because
It does?
That's not what it said.
Okay.
It said, yes, I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
The thing is, if we just stayed there and stayed here, it would be a completely different world. You can't ask
It would
me
be a completely
what the
different world.
context would be because it didn't happen. We can't talk about what ifs and ands. We can't change the past, but we can talk about the future.
You asked me about ifs and ands because you asked me, do you think it's better if you were to live back then, prior to what was the word you used? Living in squirrels, right? living in that, or as opposed to now? You presented a what if. I didn't present a what if. You did.
Yeah, but you asked why it's justified. That's
Exactly.
why I said that.
Okay, so is it better now because you made a statement? The reason why I even asked that is because you made a statement that America is better now with Europeans coming to colonize it, right? You stand by that statement.
America is
It's a better place. So if it was up to you, let's say you had the power to go in the past and say, you know what, no colonialism. I'm not gonna let that happen. Would you say let's let colonialism happen, or would you stop it? You would let it happen. Give me Revelation 13:9-10. And this is why we need to understand, according to the Bible, which you say you believe in, the Bible condemns you and actually calls you the devil.
That's right.
The Bible actually calls you an enemy of God, an enemy of Jesus Christ, who you didn't call Jesus Christ. And because of things like that, because of statements like that, trying to justify colonialism and trying to say it's okay, and that even if you had a chance, you wouldn't go back and stop it. This is why your impending doom is written in this book. This is why your judgment and you, because you reap the benefits of your ancestors. Because this is secretly how all you so-called white people think.
That's right.
Is that, it was kind of bad, but I wouldn't put an end to it if I had a say in it.
That's right.
Well, guess what? God has a say in it, and God is going to recompense you twofold. Read Revelation 13:10.
Check it out.
Revelation 13, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
He that leadeth into captivity.
Now, this is red letter. So what does this mean? This is so-called Jesus Christ speaking. He said, he that leads into captivity. Europeans leading into captivity. Did they bring about people in slavery? Yes, they did. Go ahead.
Shall go into captivity.
Shall what?
Shall go into
So
captivity.
according to the Bible, Europeans must go into captivity. So the same white people have gone around the four corners of planet Earth, rape, robbing, murdering, colonizing, destroying whole entire civilizations. Not only people, but forests and animals. You must go into slavery. You must be punished for that. Go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword.
He that killed with the sword. We're looking at a body count of the 300 plus millions by so-called white people. We're talking about 100 million Native Americans, 30-something million odd Latinos, and 100 plus million so-called black people. Is white people with that? We're talking about just white people right now. Don't try to bring about anybody else. We're talking about you right now. Go ahead.
Must be killed with the sword.
So you must be killed with the sword. Give me Jeremiah 51:25.
Check it out. This book of Isaiah, chapter 24, verse 5.
Uh-huh.
The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
The earth is what?
Defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
So guess what? It was better back then. Why? Because it wasn't defiled because of the inhabitants thereof. It wasn't defiled because of the same so-called white people that have gone and raped and robbed everybody. You guys didn't have control of America, so it was better. This was a plush land at one point. There was clean drinking water all over the place. But now we got can't even drink damn water here in Texas, man. But it was once a place where you could go and drink water damn near anywhere. But the so-called white man gets to come over here and kill every goddamn body and think it's a better place.
Right.
Go ahead.
Because they have transgressed the laws,
Uh-huh.
changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Now give me Jeremiah 51:25. Give me Revelation 11:18. This is unbelievable, man. You just sat up here and tried to justify and say you would let 100 million people die. Do you understand how sick you are for saying that? 100 million for 7 billion more people? Really? So
make the adjustment.
hold on. No. 7 billion more people. So America killing 100 million people was for the betterment of all humanity? Really? How is that?
Because 100 million people sacrificed. 7 billion came from that sacrifice.
How?
Because we colonized.
Yeah.
Everything.
Do you know what colonization means? What does it mean?
It means whenever we conquer a land.
What happens when you conquer a land? You kill people, right? People get raped, right? Things get stolen. So you're trying to say it's good to conquer people. Do you understand how sadistic that is? Now watch this. Did black people benefit from colonization? Yes, black people benefited from colonization. We just had these two crackers right here telling me that if he could go back in time, he would let colonization happen and he would let 100 million people die. That's what these two. No, I know it. Right? But he says for the betterment of 7 billion people. Was that for the betterment? Let's just go around. Let's look at all the other people.
So black people died for you, is what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's not with.
No, I'm not going to let you talk. You said quite enough.
Go ahead, let him talk.
Okay. So you don't think that colonization is good? How did we get to Europe?
How did you get to Europe? You killed and stole Europe from the original inhabitants of Europe.
That's right.
The Swartzers. That's what you want to talk about, the Holy Roman Empire. Don't you know the Holy Roman Empire was ruled by so-called black people?
I'm talking,
right.
I'm talking about way.
Okay, so you guys stole Europe now. What?
No. Listen.
You stole Europe.
If we all came from Egypt, right?
No, we didn't all come from Egypt. That's a lie.
If you want to arguendo, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I think that we all came from Egypt, right? But when we were developing as Homo sapiens, there was also two other.
That's pseudo. That's fake. Homo sapien, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, Homo onodotu, all those things are fake. That's not actual.
They don't believe in false.
I mean, it's an unsubstantiated theory, so of course I don't believe it. It's unsubstantiated, right? Have remains of Homo onodotu been recovered?
Yes.
Homo onodotu, Homo habilis, Homo sapien is who they say we are. So of course Homo sapien, Homo sapien,
skeletons
sapien.
of Neanderthals.
What is a Neanderthal?
Isn't it?
Neanderthal is a white person that lives in a goddamn trailer park that practices inbreeding.
Right.
That's right.
That they create something that looks exactly like a Neanderthal. If you were hunchback, you would be Neanderthal. Oh, really? Okay, so are there people walking around that resemble that today?
Yeah. But there's people
So
that
are they Homo sapien sapien or are they Neanderthal?
they're Homo sapiens.
Oh, but they look like Neanderthals. You see
Because-
what I'm saying?
because
It's
this is-
fake.
this
But
is
listen,
what
let
science
me just follow again. Science, a scientific theory, right, says that. I don't have to accept that scientific theory. But let's just move on to your premise. Go ahead.
Okay, so, and the reason I don't make arguments based on science or based on the Bible is because that's an argument of authority, which basically is like, for an example, like, okay, say somebody is a psychologist. I don't think a psychologist is necessarily super important for me. Okay, I think I can read a study and give my opinion about it without having a PhD. So when somebody says I have a PhD, so therefore I know what I'm talking about, it doesn't mean they're invalid, but it means they're arguing for authority. If I didn't
called
believe in the Bible
that's
and you were saying Bible stuff, you're valid.
But here's the thing. That's a game. Okay, it's called the Allegheny dialectic. Right? Have you heard of that before? It's a Masonic game. What happens is you put an opinion out, right, and I put an opinion out. And what they do to discredit the opinion they don't like, they ask for the qualifications of the individual who they want to favor, right? So, oh, you have a PhD and you don't. So the general masses are going to automatically side with the person that they feel has more authority. So I'm with you guys. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's why I don't like arguing for the Bible or science. But what I think in my head is what happened.
Oh, okay. That's always a good
So we
thing.
went,
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
and there was
Never.
three.
Ever.
So there was, I think there was three species of humans that were. We were Homo sapiens, which is where we are now. We came from Egypt. I think that the Neanderthals in Europe, what we did is first we went through, colonized Africa, and then we went up, started colonizing China, and we're from the Middle East.
The Homo sapien.
Yes. And then we went to Europe, where they were
Like the
whiter,
Neanderthal.
it was colder,
Genes who fusion.
stuff like that. We breeded with them, we killed them, we did all this stuff.
Yeah.
We got their DNA, so we got white stuff into our genes.
So you're saying you're just a black person who's mixed with Neanderthals, what you're saying?
Yeah. But I'm saying,
Okay,
no,
all right,
no,
go
I'm talking about like that's where we did.
That's where. Okay,
So I'm
with
saying,
European.
when you say that it was just terrible for Europe to go to all the other places, what we did, we all did it from Egypt.
Here's why it's problematic, because you're still saying that it was your particular sect of Homo sapiens that did that, not everybody. You know that, right? You still put it back on you.
That we all came to Egypt.
Well, no, you're saying that out of Africa, there's a group of Homo sapiens that went to Europe and essentially pillaged and took it from the Neanderthals, right?
Yes.
And that's where Caucasians come from, right? So if we follow that logic, it's still you did it still. You see that?
Yeah. We went from Europe
But
to
we-
there.
yeah, exactly.
No, we went to Europe and killed all those people.
No, but the we is still you because you're still the descendant of that people who stayed in Africa. The Homo sapiens, following your logic, the Homo sapiens that remained in Africa were not the culprits of that conquest. We're still the specific ones that went into Europe and then later created Caucasian. So that still leaves us in the
there
same
was some
place.
that stayed in Africa, there's some that stayed
Exactly.
in China.
Went over to the whole
that's
earth.
Why, yeah, and that's how I think it happened. And I think people that were originally in there broke off from China, walked over to Russia, walked across Alaska, went all the way down Canada and everything, and then all the way to South America because they were following.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of problems in that theory, but that is a theory that some people may say is widely accepted. But yet still, this doesn't let you off the hook, right? if a girl, let's take you have a young girl, right? Let's say she gets molested. Let's say they start molesting her at 5 or 6 years old, right? If you go and rape her at 13 and you go, or let's say you can rape her at 21, she's grown now, but she's been susceptible to this over the course of time because people get taken advantage of in that way. They're way more prone to also get sexually taken advantage of by other people later in life, no matter how old they get, right? Just because you raped her at 21 doesn't make you not guilty because somebody raped her at 6. You see what I'm saying? So that's essentially the equivalent to your argument there, right? So we're still getting back to conquest. We're still getting back to people, civilizations, nations, kingdoms being conquested. You see what I'm saying? By a specific group of people. So are you saying that benefited humanity, or are you saying that the Homo sapiens conquest of the inhabited earth benefited humanity?
I think that I think it's kind of one of the same. I think that us growing into what we are now, all of China, America, Russia, everybody does that. But I think what we are now is because we originally was and so that is everybody part of it. And here we are today, and it's the strongest anybody on earth ever been.
This is the strongest anybody on earth has ever been. Well, this country is the strongest anybody. You believe that America is the strongest country ever? You believe that America is stronger than, let's say, ancient Greece?
Well, when you start talking about like empires and stuff, I think that probably like the Mongol Empire was probably the like
Expansive and powerful empire.
yes, but if the Mongol Empire still this way,
Okay, due to technological advances, right?
Yes.
So, if you put it on a scale, not necessarily. But if you're saying today America is the most powerful
yes,
country on the
because
earth,
we developed
okay, that's true.
technology
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Of course.
And that happened everywhere throughout the world.
Throughout
It
the
wasn't
world, yes.
just in
Technological advances, of course, that's what I'm saying on the curve. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking. We're talking about, is America the most powerful country today? Certainly. Is the most powerful empire of all time? I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
Right, but is the most powerful country today? Yes. But the question is, it being the most powerful country, what does that have to do with its humanitarian contributions?
not like we have currency now. We have
Everybody's getting rid of your currency.
we have
Nobody wants your currency.
We started
Diplomacy?
Western civilization.
Hold on, America started Western civilization?
Yeah, we all.
Why is it
Europe
called?
and America.
Okay.
started
Okay. Is Western civilization the best type of civilization that's ever existed? Is it the most peaceful type of civilization that's ever existed? How, you said it's the best. How is Western civilization the best civilization that's ever existed?
Well, I believe.
He disagrees. He's smart. Well, why do you think?
Okay, so I think Western civilization has become the most predominant civilization because it's been proven to work. Obviously, now there's
It's
stuff
proven to work?
that is that fails it, like corporatism and stuff like that, can sometimes like corrupt it. But when you compare it to like socialism, communism, stuff like that, there's a reason that those ones failed, and America over 200 years has grown.
You're talking about a republic and democracy versus socialism and things like that.
Definition
That's
of
not
America.
Western civilization being the best, right? So
Yeah,
we're
but
doing
it's-
Western civilization versus Near Eastern civilization versus Near Eastern civilization. You see what I'm saying? So that means we're going to take Western Europe and what's been developed, Western Europe, which trickles down over the course into America, versus the Nile Valley civilization versus Mesopotamian civilizations and versus ancient and original Chinese, Japanese, Cambodian, etc. civilization. So that's what you pin it against. We don't say Western civilization is democracy and not socialism or things like that, because there are places in the West that practice those forms of government. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So in order for you to say Western civilization is the best, you have to compare it like that. You have to compare it to Eastern and Near Eastern civilization. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you compare Western civilization to that of the Near East, how can you say it's better than that of the Near East?
To the Near East.
The Near East.
Like
The
what
Near
we're
East.
talking-
The Near East is another term for Middle East, but it would start in Egypt, and go all the way to what you would probably call, let's take Egypt into the Indian subcontinent. So, from that whole area, right?
Well, I
So
think
we're dealing with
India's doing pretty well for
we're dealing with the Nile Valley civilization. We're dealing with the Indus Valley civilization. We're dealing with the Mesopotamian civilization, Syria, Babylonia, etc. We're dealing with Israel. We're dealing with Canaan. We're dealing with all that. You're telling me that what was developed in Western Europe and in America is better than what was developed there?
I think it's a lot of similar stuff. Like build and keep building. That's what they were doing. They started off small, started building, They started using the water. They started realizing how much they could use with it. They started building buildings. They developed currency because they were like, maybe we shouldn't. They were like, maybe it shouldn't be. I just have to get everything by myself. It was like, wait, I can trade this for this. Blah. See, I think it's very similar to this one.
Okay, but my question is, how is the West better than that? That's what you got to show and prove, because you made it clean.
Because we just do it on a more powerful scale. We get to more people who help other countries.
How? Okay, well, define help other countries.
Well, for example, none of the Nordic countries have any defense budget. We pay for everything.
Okay, the Nordic countries. All right, so Europe helping Europe. Europeans helping Europeans.
America.
Well, that's Europeans in America helping Europeans in the Baltic. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we're allies.
Because you're allies with them, of course, but Europeans
Like
helping
China
them.
goes north of it.
Yeah, of course, certainly. They have the same philosophical foundation. So you give a defense budget to the Baltic. Okay, well, what else? So you help arm people in a part of the world that nobody even cares about because there's not even resources there that nobody even would care to exploit. So, okay, then we would call that helping?
Like, here's Israel. Everybody around Israel hates it. Everybody would love to take them over.
Why?
America helps them.
But why?
Why?
Why does Israel exist
Israel
as a state? 1948. Why does Israel exist? In 1948, Israel became a state. Because of the Balfour Declaration that was done by Britain, right? So, a group of white people decided to put another group of white people in a land that was inhabited by a group of brown people, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And everyone hates them? Duh.
Yeah.
You came here, displaced people, gave people a state that didn't belong here in the first place, and you wonder why people hate them.
Figure it out.
So just because America is arming a group of white people in the Baltic and arming and protecting and giving money to a group of white people who they in part placed somewhere where they didn't belong, I want to understand how this is helping somebody.
Okay, or like we went to Korea and fought with South Korea, and we developed South Korea. South Korea is huge. They're killing it. Their capitalist system, they're killing it.
So they introduced capitalism to a country that didn't want it.
Well, when
This is
put them
philosophical
side by
opinion
side.
now. It's philosophical opinion. Who's to say that South Korea is better off not being a part of Korea? Like with North Korea, because it was really just Korea.
Yeah.
Then you have the intervention. Now we have a split.
Yeah.
Who's to say that they're better off not being a part of all of Korea?
Because they were more
More restricted?
yes, they were more vulnerable to somebody else running in on them, which is what happened. And so
They
we
wouldn't
stepped
be now,
in
though.
to protect them. And
Who's going to run in North Korea?
because
Who's going to run in North Korea right now?
nobody wants to, because everybody that's over there, they like it.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying, though. You can't just run up in North Korea right now.
Yeah.
Because of how armed North Korea is. It'd be stupid.
Yeah.
So literally, if America doesn't go in, let's say South Korea, we just give it time for them to develop their missile system and their army. They have the same fix here, but minus the intervention and minus the bloodshed that had to take place over the course of the Korean conflict. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but South Korea is doing way better than like you see what I'm trying to
Well,
say?
because you have something called Samsung, right? But that's economy. We're talking about capitalist-based economy. You know that in North Korea there's no such thing as homeless people?
They were?
In North Korea.
No currency.
No, but in communist countries, people aren't homeless. You see what I'm saying? People aren't starving. There's going to be guaranteed jobs, food, homes, things of that nature for the people, citizens, right?
Why does it never work?
So what do you mean? How does it? For you to say it never worked, right? You have Russia, you have Korea, you have countries that have been functioning like this for decades, right? So for you to say it hasn't worked is based off opinion.
We got next screaming Israel rise. Jamming to my verbs, standing on the curb, famine of the word, damaging my nerves, cannon for the purge. I go Michael bad, flow crazy like a psychopath, like a rifle blast. Try your ass, get your idol smashed. White Jesus, take that penning off. Day of Pentecost in the synagogue, I've been a boss. Every minute cost, and I got the dinner sauce. They call me Pace Picante. They put beef on my plate, and I ate the entree. From the seed of Jacob, I don't need a Jacob or a Rolex. Accurate passages in the papyrus and the codex. Bohemian Grove, sacrifice to the Alamolech. Pretty soon, it's Judge Dredd.